Hello everybody, vlog number 6.
What was that?
This week we're going to be talking about mental health. It is Mental Health Awareness Week this week, so we've got 5 tips to help other business owners deal with their mental health.
Yeah, but first of all, I want to say that I don't think there should be a Mental Health Awareness Week because I think mental health awareness should be a constant thing. I know that the sorts of days and weeks that people do for this sort of thing are to have a big focus on it, but I just think it's a shame that mental health awareness should be a priority for everyone all the time. There you go. It's my soapbox over.
There you go. Don't mess with Kate. So, first tip that we've got for you is identification and identifying when you've got issues and when you can feel you've got mental health problems coming on. So for me personally, and I know this is different for a lot of people, but for me, I feel like there's a big cloud hanging over my head, and I think it's pretty difficult for me to kind of put it into words, but then I know my mood's going to be affected by that and my thought process is going to be affected by that. But I know you're slightly different.
Yeah, I tend to, I think my kind of trigger, I guess, for when I know that my mental health is suffering is I start to close myself off. I start to want to isolate myself. I want to be on my own. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to pick up the phone when it rings. So that's my...
You don't do that anyway.
Yeah, it's that's how I identify when my mental health is starting to suffer. And I think I said this a few weeks ago. I think it's important to recognise as well that it is a spectrum. It's not you're either mentally healthy. It's a tongue twister this week, or you're not mentally healthy. There's a range. There's a curve there.
So tip number 2 is exercise. So this can be any form of exercise, but what helps me is having something that creates that headspace. I used to do boxing and I found it really useful because if you're not thinking about trying to avoid getting punched in the head, you're going to get punched in the head. So that made sure that my mind was clear for maybe other worries that I was having, other concerns and things like that. So, exercise I feel is very important, and that isn't necessarily going boxing or hitting the weights. It could just be walking and taking the dogs out and things like that. So I think that's a very important one. I
think exercise can sound intimidating for people if you're not like massively into it from a fitness or strength perspective, but like you just said, even walking the dogs, for me it just gives me that time to clear my head and not think about other stuff. I know I've got a friend who loves running for that reason. She said it just completely empties her mind. So whatever exercise works for you, go for it.
Right, number 3.
So number 3 is organisation. And this is coming from, for me, again, one of my triggers with my mental health is starting to feel overwhelmed or out of control of things. So one of the things that really helps me to get back on track is to regain control and get organised so that I can get rid of that overwhelm. And I think for business owners particularly, you're juggling so many different things all the time that I think it's a really important point. Get yourself organised. However that works for you. I am a paper and pen, make lists, cross things off person. You have loads of apps, don't you?
I have one app that I used, yeah.
I thought you had loads of apps.
No.
Okay.
One app.
So yeah, whatever works for you. don't fall into the trap of thinking you've got to do that one method that everyone's talking about on LinkedIn at the moment. Do what works for you, but get yourself organised, and it will definitely help you to get a handle on your mental health.
Tip 4?
What's yours?
I can't remember what it was.
Talk to people.
Yes, communication. Yeah, so like Kate said before, she shuts down, shuts herself away and isolates when she's got problems. I do the same as well. I prefer to be on my
Great
own.
team.
But it is important that you talk and you discuss your issues with other people. That was one of the reasons why we set up our mastermind group, just to have other like-minded business owners around you. Business is tough, life is tough, so to have other people on the same journey as yourself is massively important, and that's something that's helped us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, as a business owner, that's different from sort of general life. So I think, like, we talk to each other, obviously, but sometimes we talk to each other, but sometimes you need someone else, someone who's removed from the situation, particularly for us because everything is so intertwined. So finding other people who are on your same wavelength, it is a great way of getting through that and just getting other perspectives.
Yep. And last tip number 5. So that's part of the jigsaw that we're doing at the moment. Tip number 5.
Acceptance. I think one of the really great things about Mental Health Awareness Week is that it starts to break down that taboo, and it removes some of the stigma that people still feel around mental health. There's lots of people who are really supportive of the people they know, in terms of helping them with their mental health, but they're less accepting of their own mental health. And I know for me, it took me a really long time to just accept that, yes, mental health can be a bit of a roller coaster, and there will be good times and bad times, and you've just got to kind of learn to ride it. But accepting it as a normal thing that everyone is dealing with on some level, I think is really helpful to actually boosting it. Because if you're feeling guilty and down about it, it's only going to make things worse and spiral.
Yeah. So we hope those 5 tips help. The reason why we set this channel up is to help other business owners and people within business. It's an exciting start to the week. We've already had a client from London agree a renewal on their 12-month contracts. That's an amazing start. It's only Monday. And I'm just going to a meeting now with a company who do work with Google and Facebook. So fingers crossed. And this is the first meeting, and hopefully they'll sign up. I'll let you know how it goes. Well, meeting went very well. We had a good tour around of their building, which was interesting. And we've just got to wait now for a decision from Houston, Texas. These business decisions always take longer when you're working with big global businesses, so we're used to that, which is, it's a bit of a shame, and for someone like me that doesn't really have much patience, it's annoying, but what can you do? So fingers crossed. So I'm in the office on my own today, which is nice sometimes, a bit of peace and quiet. I'm in a WhatsApp group called Mantality, which is a mental health group where men get together and discuss issues and problems and things that they're going through in a like-minded community. And the founder of it, a guy called Stevie, said the other day that we feel how we feel, and that really helped me organise my feelings. I woke up and I felt like I had a big cloud over my head, and that was really affecting how I was feeling. And I took the dogs for a long walk, and I had a really good think about why I was feeling how I was feeling, what was the cause of how I was feeling, and really delved into why I was feeling that way, and that really helped me acknowledge how I was feeling and helped me get straight in my head that there was no real basis around the reason I was feeling how I was feeling. And having straightened that out in my head, I finished the dog walk off. I then went to the gym and did a workout, had a shower, and after that I felt great. And usually that cloud would hang around for the day, and that would affect how I would deal with other people and would make me have a really crappy day. And I think it's very important, acknowledge how you're feeling, but I do think you really need to give yourself that time to have that headspace to think about it, whether it is going out for a run, that I know a lot of people are doing at the moment during lockdown, whether it's taking your dogs for a walk, going out for a drive, just anything like that where you're not specifically thinking about one thing and you can just focus and clear your mind. That's something that's really helped me, and I hope that can help other people. If you've got any tips on how you deal specifically with your mental health, please post them in the comments below. We appreciate everyone that's viewed our videos already. We've got 55 subscribers now, and I think nearly 2,000 people have watched our videos, and we only launched it during the middle of lockdown about 5 weeks.
6 weeks ago. It's vlog 6.
So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Please click the subscribe button below, and we hope you enjoyed this video.
Sorry.
Why are you laughing at me?
Because you forgot that it's been 6 weeks and it's vlog 6. Sorry.
Been a tough week. Bye.